All right, and we're live again. MMA Uncensored, episode 8. Special thank you for Anthony Rumble Johnson for coming on by and hanging out. And we had a great conversation. And found out me and Anthony are neighbors, which is pretty cool. So I will not tell you where he lives, though. Anyway, guys, I got my second guest of the night. Unbelievable athlete, an Adidas athlete, also international WBC champion, the one and only Alycia Baumgardner, baby. Let's bring her up. Alycia, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I just have to give you props for pronouncing my name right because everybody screws it up. Everybody.
Listen, if you're dropping, are you talking about first name or last name?
First name.
Okay, Alycia. Yeah, that's how you say it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, now, what are they calling you, Alycia?
Yes. It's so late. I'm like, come on, y'all, get it together.
Let's go. We got Alicia Keys. That's cool, But we have Alycia Baumgardner, and I like the spelling of your name too. It's very unique, I think.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So thank you for being a guest on MMA Uncensored, our 8th episode. And so you're a pioneer guest, which is pretty cool. And you're, I gotta say, pretty amazing. I follow you on Instagram, and I really want my followers to know who you are in case they don't know, because they need to know. I think women's boxing, I think it needs to be seen more, and I think you're that athlete, very marketable, and a very good athlete and a great fighter, that I think could really propel women's boxing to the next level. So I wanted to give you the floor. What have you been doing during this quarantine to stay busy? What's been going on in your life?
Yeah, so during this time, I think it's important that we stay active, especially being an athlete. I can't sit in the house too long. I have to do something. So me and the guys, we meet up, we go work out. We had a run today. We've been able to stay in the gym, just a group of us. And, I've been able to stay active, and I love it. And I've also been able to eat some awesome food. I went on a raw vegan diet, just to maintain my weight. And I was like, I can't get too big during this time off. So I'm like, let's take this chance to, cleanse myself and, feed my body some good things. And so everything's been going well. I've been trying to make the best out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's great. Yeah, I think a lot of people in quarantine. It's like, yeah, even if you're a professional athlete, that you have that time. You have a lot of time on your hands. So it's definitely good to use it wisely. What kind of vegan food were you eating to kind of keep the weight off?
Yeah, so I've just been doing literally fruits and vegetables and smoothies. So no bread, no sugar, just all clean foods, and I feel so good. I feel energized. I feel sometimes I gotta like wind myself down because I got too much energy. So I love it. I totally recommend it. I don't know if you've seen Game Changers on Netflix, but
no, I haven't.
It's a great documentary about athletes, bodybuilders. They have a few different on there who switch to a plant-based diet.
Okay.
And just talk about just the positives in it. So it's pretty good.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny you say smoothies because I literally last week I just started buying fruits and vegetables because I feel like I haven't had enough of that, and I've been making smoothies too, and it's like the best thing. I think I'm gonna stick with that.
Awesome.
That's pretty awesome. So where are you from originally? You from what state?
I'm from Ohio.
Ohio originally. Okay, the Midwest.
Midwest, yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. So you grew up a boxing fan?
Actually, I grew up not really a boxing fan. It has always been in my family, but I started wrestling first. Okay. So that was my first sport, and then I transitioned into boxing.
Wow. So. Okay. So did they have like a wrestling team that you were on when you were a kid?
Yeah, so I biddy wrestled for a little while, and then I wrestled in middle school. I was the first girl to wrestle in middle school. So I'm like, yeah, let me do it, and I won the GLL tournament, which is like a really big tournament in Ohio. I won the women's nationals 3 times. So wrestling has been my first sport, my first background, my first everything. And then at 8, I transitioned into boxing.
Wow. So who got you into these sports? Was it something you wanted to do or your parents?
Yeah, my dad.
Okay.
He wanted to get me into it. You know, I've always had the talent. So you know, they wanted to make sure that I was using that to the best of my ability. So you know, let's put her in wrestling. So it was awesome.
That's amazing. And look, we have Trevor Peter said my 6-year-old daughter wants to box, and I've showed her videos of Alycia on YouTube. This is surreal. Do your thing. That's cool.
That's awesome. Thank
See,
you.
you got fans. I love it. I love it. That's amazing. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. We got into wrestling. You know, it's funny. It was just had another interview. We were talking about wrestling as a kid, you know, 8 years old. And I think that's, you know, that's really cool how you transitioned into that. So 8 years old boxing. What was that like for you as a little kid, like getting in there and learn how to box?
Yeah, so you know, being in wrestling, that was like a male dominant sport. So,
Hmm.
you know, that gave me that, you know, that grit, that competition, that, you know, I am superior just as
Yeah.
much as a guy is. So when I went to the boxing gym again, that's another male dominated sport. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, I've kind of been familiar of the surrounding, and,
Mhm.
you know, I did everything the guys did, and it was never, well, she's a girl, let's treat her different. So, you know, I was made for it.
That's amazing. So when was your, I guess, yeah, so you did a lot of training at 8. When did you have your first amateur fight?
I want to say it was 8 years old. Yep.
It
So
was 8,
yeah, you can start fighting at 8. So I remember it to
right out
this
the
day.
gate.
Just so little, just going in there and just throwing out these little punches. And I literally, from I think my first 10 fights, they were all stopped in the first round because I would just go out there and just
You were dropping bombs.
dropping bombs. I'm telling you, the bomb was supposed to happen later in professional career.
See, you peaked very quickly. That's amazing.
Right.
So like, so how many? I guess how many amateur fights did you have in total, roughly?
Yeah, so I had 165 amateur fights, which
Okay.
is pretty well for a girl. Um, you know, I took fights that girls were bigger than me, had
Hmm.
more fights than me because it was so hard to get a fight that I just wanted to fight. And so
Right.
my coach was confident in me to throw me in there. So
Incredible.
I had a pretty good background. That experience helped me transition into
Mhm.
the pro rank. So
And how old were you when you turned pro?
I was 22.
Okay. And you came on strong. I mean, right out the gate. I mean, were you when you won
20
the title? What's that?
It was 23. Well, if you
23.
lose track of time, like I'm about to be 26. I'm like, gosh, do I remember? It's crazy.
I'm about to be 37. Don't even talk to me right now. Things hurt that never hurt before. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Just trying to stay with it.
those fruits and vegetables will help you, I promise.
I'm gonna talk. We're gonna talk again, and I'm gonna wait a couple of months to give you my update on the fruits and vegetables and tell you how I've been feeling. 'Cause
Awesome.
I'm
Okay.
gonna put it to the test and see. So you came out hot out the gate, you know, in your professional career. And correct me if I'm wrong. Your 6th pro fight, you won the championship.
Hmm.
It was okay. So you're 6-0 at that time. So you know, what was that like for you? You know, okay, I've been doing this since I'm 8 years old, and now I'm a professional, and I just won a world title. I mean, what was that like for you?
It was awesome. It was
Hmm.
definitely a time that it wasn't so common for someone to get like a title shot at
Hmm.
6-0. And so, you know, I was excited. You know, I trained hard for that fight. It was in Philly. It
Hmm.
was a great crowd. It was my first 8 round fight against a tough opponent, a well experienced fighter.
Yeah.
And it just really, I would say that gave me an eye opener
Hmm.
to what was more to come. And so that was just a taste of that. Mhm.
Amazing stuff. And now you're 9-1, 6 knockouts. So you got knockout power as well, and a high percentage of knockouts. So, what? When did you realize that you had developed this punching power?
At a young age.
Yeah.
At a young age. Probably when when I wrestled, like I was really slamming boys on the mat. Like I was double, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just natural strength that I have. And so as I've grown and gotten older,
Mhm.
it's gotten better with just the mechanics of throwing the punch correctly and using, you know, your legs. And So there's so much more power that I can definitely put towards. So it's just a working process. So I love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Then of course the speed, that really helps with power. And I think it's incredible for for women's sports. Obviously we see in mixed martial arts, UFC, even bare knuckle fighting. Women are really getting a lot of attention, and they're putting on amazing shows and they're training their asses off. And I'd like to see boxing get into that. I feel like you're a trailblazer for the women's division. That's why I'm so happy to have you on this podcast tonight. And I want to see this women's boxing propelled to the level that it deserves to be, especially seeing the way mixed martial arts is nowadays. So we want to see that. Where do you see the women's boxing division going? From today moving forward.
I definitely see it progressing. Before COVID happened, there was quite a few fights lined up
Right.
uh, for championships. So those fights got put on hold. But I definitely see it progressing. I feel as if the promoters do a better job with promoting it, we'll see a lot more. I think it'd be great to actually have a show, just a women's card on an MMA card, so they can get like all the women on there, and then the women. I think that'd be pretty dope. Just because I think people want to see women's boxing, but it's not talked about as much, and it's not promoted as much as MMA.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I'd like to see it too. I think an all women's event would be a great idea, especially because now everybody has an opportunity to showcase themselves and people could see what it's all about. And I've seen Layla Ali fight, obviously. I've seen your fights, and and not to compare you guys, but just the level of competition is there. And it's entertaining for the common fan, and it's also entertaining for fans that have fight experience. So. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool, all women's event. And do you think that's something that could get set up in the future?
Yeah, they did have a card. I think it was in Georgia. They had a girls' card, but again, it wasn't televised. It wasn't like known for everybody to see. And that's the biggest thing. There's so many women with so much talent that
Right.
the viewing is so limited that you only hear of a Clarissa Shields or a Katie Taylor because those are the ones that are being promoted. But there's plenty of other women out there with different stories and different talent that they have to offer to the sport. So once they start recognizing those women and we talk and uplift those women, we can see a change in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got a question here, and I think this is geared towards Trevor's daughter. Alycia, at 8 years old, what motivated you to continue and push to where you are at right now?
What motivated me was the long term, what I thought about long term. I knew at 8 years old that I was destined for something. I knew that I had a job. And I knew that it was going to require sacrifice. So when I did get into middle school, when I did get into high school, the parties and the hanging out, it wasn't going to be for me because I was so sacrificed. I was dedicated in sacrificing that time and putting that in the gym. So I knew that there was going to be a bigger picture, and I knew I wanted more for myself. I didn't just want an average life. I knew that I was great at something. As long as I have the work ethic, the mindset to be dedicated to do it, I can do it. So at 25, I'm happy. Like I'm like, wow, I'm following my dreams, and everybody can follow their dreams, and I'm doing it, and it's awesome. I'm blessed every day to do that.
You are blessed, and it's amazing. Like I love talking to people like you, and when I say like you, I mean people that are motivated and they have worked hard to find the success that they have. Because I feel like a lot of people like that are trying to obtain a goal, they don't realize sometimes, and myself included at one point in my life, like how important it is to sacrifice and work hard in order to get to your goals. Although young, 23-year-old champion, you've been through the trenches. You've been doing this since you're 8. So it's great. I want people to know this about you. And like for you, like who is the person in your life that was the biggest motivator or inspiring person in your personal life that constantly pushed you, even like when you felt like down and out?
I would say, I get that question a lot, and sometimes I don't really think about it, but when I think about it, I can just say my surroundings is what motivated me, where I come from,
Right.
who I am, just being a woman in this world, being a woman in a male dominant sport. I just knew that, I gotta make something for myself. Like, again, like a lot of people don't know my backstory, but just, my father being, a potential professional baseball player, and, it didn't go his way, and I'm like, man, I don't want to be that woulda, shoulda, coulda person. I know that I'm great. Like I can do this. So a lot of my backstory and my surroundings growing up motivated me to be where I want to be today. So
it's amazing. That's what your dad was he in like a farm system for a professional team?
So my dad, his whole family was in boxing. So
Okay.
my father. So there's a difference. My biological father is my father, and then my dad is my dad, who's been in my life since a young age and who's put me in boxing. So
Cool.
that's backstory. People don't really know about it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing that. And actually have. Oh, this is a cool question. Yeah, let's see what this has to say. So Trevor loves you. He said, "Will you ever go to UFC or stay in boxing?" And you have a house full of young girls who are fans of yours.
Yeah, so I'll never say never. I never thought I would go pro. I told myself I'll never go pro. I wanted to go to the Olympic route and do that. That didn't go my way. So I'm like, dang. Well, I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep going wherever this takes me. I had a chance to run track in college, but I chose boxing. And then so I can never say never. So if UFC comes up, then why not? I do have a wrestling background, and I would
That's
love,
right.
just do it one time for the one time. Maybe do like a Mayweather and McGregor fight with one of the big top girls over there. So I like to fight. I'm competitive, so why not?
I like that. You know how to sell. I love it. See, that's what I like to hear. So if you were to transition to UFC, who would you want to fight? Who would you see yourself fighting? What would be a dream match for you?
Who's interesting. Whoever the top girl is.
Okay. What is your fighting weight?
I fight at 130.
There's some good competition there.
But I'm not sure. Is the same weight class is the same for boxing? Is there a 35 weight class or a 40?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could.
40.
Let's see who's in. I can't think off the top of my head, but we'll say like a 135-pound division.
Yeah.
Let's take a look and see. I'm just curious now because now you got me all fired up. So there's featherweight. So let's see who's in. Yeah, I'll take a look at featherweight. But yeah, so there you could definitely do it. Oh, look at that. Amanda, somebody's saying Amanda Nunez. Woo!
She what weight does she?
I don't know. Let me take a look and see.
Look, just like how I tell them in the boxing game, I'll fight anybody.
Because you're a fighter, and fighters fight.
I'm a fighter. They want to see a good competitive fight. I'll give you that.
Damn right. I think that's what everybody wants to see from a fighter. I think that's super important. Let's see. So 130. Yeah, Nunez. So yeah, you got Holly Holm in there. There's a lot of Juliana Pena. There's a lot of.
Holly Holm would be a good one. She transitioned from boxing to MMA, and I think that'd be pretty dope because she was a great boxer.
She was great fighter too in general.
Yeah. So
call out right now.
You never know.
Call it out. It's going viral tomorrow morning. Done.
Okay.
Holly Holm.
Holly Holm, I'm coming for you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. I think the transition, like that crossover fighting, there's a lot of people say it's not good. A lot of people like it, but I think money-wise, definitely. And I think that, the talent is there for both fighting styles. So, I mean, why not,
Definitely.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. All right, so now we know. If we didn't know, now we know.
Now you
Um,
know.
so
You're
like
gonna.
so all right, so that's pretty interesting that you would transition to UFC. But 25 years old, I mean, do you feel like you still have a lot more to prove in women's boxing?
I have a lot to prove in women's boxing. I have not touched the surface at all. I'm just a quick preview that for a lot of people, I would say. Just even the stuff online,
Mhm.
those are just, those are previews. Like I haven't even seen me yet. And so I just know that there's so much more of me. And so that excites me as a fighter and what I have to push myself to. So yeah, I got a lot to do in this sport, and then make my mark, make my history in women's boxing. So
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot more for you. And at 25 years old, I mean, your career is in the beginning stages. So there's a lot more left, definitely. And who would you like? Is there anybody in your crosshairs that you'd? I know you say you want to fight anybody, but is there any particular person that you really want to get in the ring with?
yeah, just any of the top girls in the
Hmm.
top weight class, whoever has a world title.
Right.
Um, there's Michaela Mayer, who's with Top Rank. There's a Katie Taylor. There's Amanda Serrano. Just any of the top girls that are in those weight classes from 130 to 40. I would love to fight. Um, Cecilia Brækhus, Jessica McCaskill, like any of them girls.
Okay, I like it. So like, after you suffered your first and only loss of your career, A, what was that like for you? And B, what did you do for yourself to motivate yourself to get back up?
Yeah, so that fight was definitely a wake up call for me,
Hmm.
not just as an athlete, but just as a woman.
Hmm.
Just the surroundings that you have and in your life really dictate how you move through life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If you have distractions, those can mess you up. And so that fight had taught me a lot of on that, and then it also taught me, okay, what do we need to work on in the gym? What can we be better at? I did not allow that fight to put me in a hole, to make me feel sad, because in sports you win some and you lose some, and it depends on how you as a person want to come back. It just motivated me more. I'm like, okay, bet, like
Yeah.
that happened. Okay, that fight is just gonna make me better. And that girl ended up going on and fighting Katie Taylor and
Mhm.
becoming a two-time world champion. So when I did take that fight, she was a great opponent to fight as well. But I took it as motivation, all of it, and it just showed me that it's important to know your surroundings, the people that you have in your corner
Mhm.
who's for you, and not that can distract you from what's at task. It's so important. Boxing's a lonely sport, so you're by yourself most of the time. So it's important that you keep your mind, straight, and you know what your task is at hand. So
And it's also important, like you said, that the circle of people that you have, because those are all the surrounding. That's the surrounding energy that you have in your life. So, is your circle like? Do you feel like a tight, small circle?
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I can count them on my fingers, and I'm fine with that. I'm
Right.
fine. I don't need a lot of people. I need the people that are genuine, caring for
Right.
me, and want to see me win, and as much as I want to see them win too.
What about like growing up watching boxing on TV? Who were some inspiring boxers that you were like, wow, like I totally want to do this now because of these people?
Yeah, Mike Tyson, one of them. Like, I'll just
Love
if
Mike.
I'm feeling like any type of downness, I'll just put a Mike Tyson 20 knockout clip on, and
Done.
I just get revamped up.
Yep. Of
Like Tyson, Mayweather,
course.
Canelo,
Hmm.
just some of the just top fighters, some of the old school fighters, just a lot of people who come from, who have a story like mine, or who's coming up and went through the grind, and
Mm.
you know So those are some of the few fighters.
Tyson always comes up. It's so
Ann
like
Wolf. I forgot about her. Ann
who?
Wolf.
Okay.
Ann Wolf against Vonda Ward. Have you seen that fight?
No, I haven't, but I'm going to watch it now.
When you see that fight, you're gonna
Yeah.
be like, "Oh my gosh, that fight
Oh,
right there is the first round. That's all you gotta see."
really?
And that was Ann Wolf versus Vonda Ward. So Ann Wolf kind of reminds me of myself. Her build, her arms and stuff. That was a good fight. So
I'm gonna check that out.
yes,
Definitely. Yeah. And speaking of, like you said, your arms, I've watched your workout videos on the beach and stuff. And, yo, see, I'm actually jealous because I can't even work out like that. I mean, you kill it. It's
my arms are
incredible.
big, bro. My arms are big, and a lot of people think I lift weights, but I kid you not. I was literally born like this. I have a picture when I was like 5 with my arms looking cut up, and they were asking my parents like, "What are you doing to this girl?" Like, I was really just naturally built. So it just tells more to my story, and my muscles tell a story. That's what I say. So.
They certainly do. And they were telling me a story because I was like looking at myself like, yo, you gotta hit the waist, bro.
Man, a lot of push-ups back in the day. I did.
I believe. When did you start like working out? Like, was it super young too, incorporated with the boxing training, or?
I mean, shoot, I would say like strictly. I mean, when I first at 8 with boxing,
Mhm.
because boxing was so just strict. You had to be ready for your fight. Wrestling was good conditioning as well, but
Mhm.
um, you know, the boxing definitely. We were doing push-ups and guy push-ups. My coach, I walked in, he was like, "No girl push-ups here."
That's it.
So,
Toes up, all the way down, all the way up.
yep, we did 60 a day. Every day was 60 push-ups.
Wow,
Hmm.
and that's a lot for a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we was in there working,
So,
working.
so where do you train now?
I train in Detroit.
Okay,
I train in Detroit now, so
nice.
um,
And you're sponsored by Adidas.
I am. Yes.
That is so cool. How did that come about?
Yeah. So, quick backstory: I spoke it into existence when I first turned pro. My sports PR approached me. And I told him, I was like, I want to be signed with Adidas. Like, I love Adidas. I want to be with Adidas. And 2 years later, that ended up happening. I'm just like, wow, that's awesome. And so I've been able to shoot with them. Um, I
Yeah, the
actually
videos are so cool that they did for you.
aren't they? Um, I went to Ohio the other day and I
Mhm.
went into Dick's Sporting Goods and I see me. And I knew I had did this shoot
Oh,
like
that's
last year and they're like,
yeah.
it's going to be Dick's Sporting Goods. And I haven't seen it yet. Like people would tag me in it.
Yeah.
But when I see me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's me. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I finally got to see me in Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm like, that's awesome.
What a feeling.
Such an accomplishment. I'm like, that's awesome. So blessed.
Did you tell
Um,
anybody? Hey, that's me up there.
No, I literally had a hat on. Like, I think if I wore my hair out like this, how I
Mhm.
usually do, because at the picture I looked like this, I think people would be like, I think that's her. But I had a hat on and everything. I was kind of staying like low key because I was like, wow, that's so cool. But I plan to go back just to go
Sure.
look at it again and take a picture next to it. So I
If
thought
that
it was
was me, I'd be like standing under it, like on my phone, like just like acting like I'm on the phone with someone until somebody notices me. You know that because I would do something stupid like that.
yeah. I'm like, that's crazy. It was so awesome seeing that. So, that relationship was built.
Mhm.
And it's still there. And I love Adidas. I like what they represent, and I'm really thankful to be a part of the Adidas family.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, I'm wearing their sneakers right now. I love Adidas. I've been wearing it forever. So like, did they just call you and reach out to you, or you have like a management team and they set that up for you?
Yeah, so I had a PR
Hmm.
who was able to reach out and set that relationship up, and then we just went there. I went to New York. I went to LA, Georgia, or Atlanta. So I've been able to travel and be part of that. So that was just awesome.
That is
Oh,
pretty amazing.
and I got my fighting gloves too. These are actually the gloves. I didn't show anybody yet, but I'll show you. These are going to be my next fight gloves
Oh,
for the fight.
those are nice. I like that silver and blue. That's a nice combo.
Yeah. So you got to see it first.
Yes, I feel so special. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is so cool. And then
Yeah.
when is your next fight scheduled?
Nothing planned yet. We were supposed to fight at Motor City Casino in Detroit. That was
Okay.
going to be the last fight in March. So
Mhm.
hopefully we can get that rescheduled depending on how things are moving along with this COVID. So we'll see.
Yeah, do you think like boxing will adapt what UFC did with the empty arenas?
Yeah, it will. They're definitely doing that. There's going to be a few fights in June that they're
Oh,
already talking about doing. Eddie Hearn wants to do a show in his backyard. Somewhere his
I'll,
facility.
I'll live stream it. I'll go out there and do it.
Right. Right. So he's already thinking ahead of the game. So we got to get back to it. We're all stuck in the house. We want to watch our sports, and I'm fine with that. With not fighting with the crowd, I'm cool with that as long as I'm staying active and
Right.
building my record. So
That's true. And so yeah, it sucks too because this whole disease thing really, screwed everything up. And I say that in the most sensitive, caring way possible. But sports wise, it put a hiccup on everything. And I definitely want to see something happen in boxing because I mean, I think the last boxing match that I watched was Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder.
what a
You know,
great fight,
oh
wasn't
my,
it?
crazy.
Man, that fight was so awesome. Just from the entrance, from the build up, from the crowd to the walkout. It was awesome.
It was like honestly watching a movie, like from the first fight, the way it was so close, the knockdown. Tyson Fury got up like the freaking Undertaker in the last round, and it was a draw. And both fighters were cool with it. And now here we go again. Like we're gonna make a decision. We're gonna decide now who's gonna win. And did you expect Tyson Fury to be as good as he was?
Absolutely.
You did. Okay.
Absolutely. I know Tyson Fury's background.
Yeah.
He's a boxer, man, and
Old school gypsy style.
steward, and so just that alone right there already tells you something. So yeah, I definitely seen that coming.
And his style changed too, because if you notice, like he was more like Ali rope a dope in the first fight. He was getting inside, bobbing and weaving. He was making Wilder miss, and Wilder was coming over the top pretty heavy with his right, and Fury read that the entire fight. Obviously when Wilder caught him because he's so powerful, he was able to land that shot, knock him down. But the second fight, Tyson Fury he was a boxer. The second fight, you saw that difference. He picked the shots, he was poised. So yeah, like when I saw him come out like that first round, I was like, oh, this is different. And yeah, he won. He won fair and square.
Going into that second fight. So congrats to him.
You think so? Now that they're talking about Joshua and Fury now for a unification match, what do you think about that?
I definitely got Tyson Fury winning that as well. I feel like Joshua's a little more amateurish, just a tad, a little bit. Like he's gotten his last fight was better because he boxed, but you're going in there with Tyson Fury. End of story. So we'll see how that goes down. But I definitely got winning that one.
Absolutely, yeah. That'll be a pretty good fight. I got another question for you too. What is the toughest thing about being a female boxer?
The toughest thing is being your own voice, but knowing that it's important to be your own voice. If I don't voice anything, then nothing's gonna happen as far as, hey, I think I should get paid more for this fight, or hey, I think that this fight deserves a title fight, or hey, I think this fight deserves some promotion. So just it's that's one way of it being tough, but I know it's necessary. So.
Very true. Do you feel like social media has been helpful for you to promote yourself and to promote your fights and things like that?
Definitely has. It's definitely has helped, and that's one thing I understand as an athlete, as a product, as a businesswoman, we have to promote ourselves, even more. And so if we don't have a promoter backing us, like a big promoter, then we got to do it ourselves. And so that's what I try to do. And, I've reached quite a few followers, and, that's all from organic grow, or like organic followers. And I can't believe how much it's grown from just this past week, like 3,000 followers. I'm like, wow, that's wild. Where are these people coming from? Like,
So I hope I had something to do with that from
yeah,
MMA
you did.
Uncensored.
You
Cool.
did. I
Cool.
gotten some followers from that way, and just seeing it grow. I remember it was I think the beginning of 2019 in January. I was at 10,000 followers, and so just to see it grow from there to now, I'm just like, wow, it's awesome. And I just want to reach more people and let them know who I am and what I represent. And so that's why I want to just get back in the ring, because I am a fighter first. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're a model and this and that. I mean, that's cool and all, but I'm really a fighter. Like I live for this. It's my passion. So I want people to know that side of me as well.
Yeah, and I'll be happy to, promote you and share your stuff because, I really want to see the women's division, make some waves, and I see you doing that. And then you said you were into modeling as well.
I mean, I guess you call it modeling. I just like, dolling myself up,
Yeah,
taking selfies. People call it modeling. I just call it self-care.
yeah, there you go. Self quarantine care, smoothies, and modeling pics. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with it.
For
That's
real.
it. Yeah, I'm gonna start after I start drinking more of these smoothies in a couple months. I'm gonna trim up a little bit. Maybe I'll do some modeling pics too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it makes you feel good. You start seeing results. You're like,
Yeah.
man, I gotta show these people what this stuff does. So it all goes hand in hand.
The beaches have opened in Florida, so I may have to go out there. We'll see what happens.
I need to go to Florida. I was gonna actually go there before all this COVID happened, and then changed my mind. But I plan to go back down to Florida. That is like my second home. I love Florida. My
That's cool.
manager is from Florida. My other trainer is from down there. So
Mhm.
Florida is like my second home. I've been in Florida plenty of times. Love it there.
Where do
Love
you
it.
stay and train when you're in Florida?
West Palm area.
Ah, that's
I don't
my
know if
hood.
you've heard of Cahokie.
Okay, yeah, yeah. What?
Cahokie.
Yep, Pahokee.
Yeah, it's so little, but there I usually go there, but West Palm area. So I love it. I love Florida. I love the heat.
Yeah, me too.
Just love it. I need to
Yeah,
go there.
yeah, you do. You got to come down. West Palm's my area. That's where
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
where I'm headquartered at, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I love it down here. I think it's great. A lot of fighters down here. It's a good fight state. There's a lot of sanctioning going on. I mean, Bareknuckle doesn't have, they never really had a hard time in Florida from what I've heard, and that's good. So maybe you'll get some fights in Florida. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, my manager Nelson Lopez is from
Cool guy,
Florida.
by the way.
Yeah, and
I
so
haven't formally met him, but we communicate on IG a little bit here and there. But I have seen him in the background in Bare Knuckle because I've done some events over there, and he seems like everybody likes this guy. He's like a cool dude.
yeah, he said some cool things about some nice things about you. He's like, oh, that's a good bit. I'm gonna be watching. So I'm like, okay, bet.
All right,
Um,
shout out.
yeah. So yeah, hopefully, we can get a fight down in Florida. I definitely got a small fan base down there. Be able to travel and fight and, show everybody the bomb.
Yeah, we gotta drop some bombs. I'll be there if you're fighting down here in Florida. That's a hop and a skip for me. So we could do some cool live interviews and say, hey, look, you got to check out Alycia Baumgardner because she's dropping bombs and she's the champ, and that's what we
Yes,
want to do.
yes, appreciate it. I'm always down to do an interview. Again, thank you for
Mhm.
including me on this call.
Oh, it was my pleasure. So happy to have you on. And anything else that you'd like to share to listeners or any aspiring young lady boxers out there?
Yeah, my advice and anything I can do to motivate somebody is, always keep pushing to be better each and every day. You can have 2 days that will knock you down, but that next day could be the one to uplift you and get you through the week. As a fighter, I've been through ups and downs, and took a loss and been in situations I'm just like, man, I don't know about this anymore. But it was always that next day that I'm like, you know what, I got to keep pushing. So always keep pushing. Be your biggest fan, because at the end of the day, it's you. That's all you got is you, and you got this. So you got to keep this right, so everything else follows. So just keep pushing and being better, and being your biggest fan, and keeping the reason why I eat the way I eat is because it protects my temple, and my temple is my engine, and I got to keep my engine going and feeling it when I get in the ring. It's performance. So that's another thing. When you eat good, you feel good. So it goes all hand in hand. So
You got that. I love it. Those are great words, and thank you for sharing that. And I know Trevor's in here, and he's a fan, and he's watching. He's got a little daughter that's trying to box, and I hope that hits home, and I hope it hits home for any young lady that's watching this, because I think it's a great message that you just delivered. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing.
Yes.
For the young girls out there, being in being in wrestling, being in boxing, two male dominant sports, just know that it makes you even more just stronger as a woman, that you're able to defend yourself and you're able to do everything they can do. And I know it's always split in half. Well, this and that. And it's like, no, like, we're coming together. The guys actually helped me prepare for my fight, so I'm thankful for them. And then they also know not to put their hands down, because I'm gonna crack them. So
that's right.
It goes hand in hand. So just know, like, us women are strong individuals, and we can be awesome. So just keep pushing.
I love it. Alycia, thank you so much for being on the podcast tonight. Absolute pleasure talking to you, and thank you for your message. And let's stay in touch. We'll definitely link up again for sure.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
It was my pleasure, Alycia. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
You got it. And that's a wrap, folks. MMA Uncensored, episode 8. It was a wild night tonight. Tonight we were hopping around tonight, but it was pretty cool. We had Anthony Rumble Johnson on live here at my place here, and that was really cool to sit down with him and talking about his UFC return, which is going to be very exciting. And, of course, the beautiful, talented, and just flat-out awesome Alycia Baumgardner. Check her out. Amazing, amazing athlete. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It was a little different tonight, but there's going to be more different things like that coming now that COVID-19 is, and we're phasing out of it, and we're allowed back out in public again. I just want to let you guys know, stay tuned, because we got the coolest shit coming up with athletes, MMA, boxing, wrestling. We're talking live stuff like you have never seen before. It's going to be so exciting. So the podcast is great. I love the podcast. I always do the podcast, but we are evolving quickly. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Tuesday night, and we'll see you next time.